KUGAN CASSIUS IFL TV in association with Macklin's Gym Marbella. With me, Johnny Nelson.
How you doing?
How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Well, you always seem like you stood too close. That's better. No, that's too far.
Sound.
All right.
You can pick the sound up from this mic at the top. The return of George Groves tomorrow.
Yeah. Good on him, George. Good on him.
Doing a little check weight there.
It's nice to see George back in the mix again. I think after his loss to Jack, I thought he can't walk away now. I understand heart-wise, your heart's broken because you think, is that it? You know, if you've got dreams to become a world champion and your dreams are never realised, then you know you either go on to be a journeyman or you want to carry on fighting to be a champion, and that's what George wants to do. I think he's done the right thing. He showed quite clearly he had a beating of Jack, so that means he has the potential to be a champion. It's a case of will the chance come again, and if it does come again, who against? Because this will be the fourth time trying, and there's not many fighters that have had 4 attempts at the world title.
Johnny, you know, we have many fighters in this country that have been so nearly, you know, there at world level.
Fighters, but nearly, man.
But haven't won it. You know, Ryan Rose is one of them.
Errol Graham, another one.
Errol Graham, Jamie Moore. Yeah. These were great fighters that never quite cut it at the world scene. When do you give up? He's had 3 failed attempts. When do you give up?
Listen, because this is an honest point of view from a fighter. Now, you get fighters that are happy to trudge along and be British champion. Once you get that, they don't want anything else. Commonwealth champion, they don't want anything else. European, they don't want anything else. Everybody has their limits. And then you have the guys that actually keep our game alive, the journeymen on the bottom of the bill. And they don't care if they win or lose, they just want to fight. But if you've gone onto boxing your dreams to be a world champion, it's really a dream, and it's your pride and everything. You go on to try and box for a world title, and you realise you're nowhere near world title level. It's very hard for you to swallow your pride and box for anything less. It's very hard, unless you know eventually you're going to get another crack at the world title. It's very hard for you to do that. So only certain fighters can do that. So when George is saying, I've got to really consider my future here, to me, I knew then he's still hungry, still wants to be a champion, still realistically thinks it's possible for him to be a champion. And so he thinks, right, if I make the right moves, make the right pass, let's do it. He's going to try and make every fight mean something. This is one to say, look, I'm back in the mix, which is good for him. But I reckon every fight we see him in after this, he'll be trying to shout the names of the De Gales and so forth, and he'll be trying to do that and get himself in the mix. I don't think he's the kind of fighter that's going to be happy to settle to just trudge along and fight, but never expect to get a world title fight. If he realises there's no way I'm getting a world title fight, he'll walk away. He's not he's not a journeyman. He's not got that mentality. He can't do it.
Over the last sort of year and a half, we've seen some dramatic changes. You know, first of all, starting with the split of him and Adam Booth just before the first Froch fight, joining the Sowlands, and now obviously the relationship with Paddy Fitzpatrick. That, you know, listening to George speak this week, you know, had some very strong words about that situation. He's now with Shane McGuigan, being reunited with the whole David Haye thing. There's been a lot of changes. The right changes, in your opinion?
It always disturbs me when a fighter is constantly changing trainers. In George's situation, I think it's about control, and he likes to be in control of a lot, because once he left Adam, he then was the bus driver, bus conductor, ticket seller and passenger. So he couldn't concentrate on just being the fighter. That to me worries me. So unless he has complete trust and faith in Shane to do his thing and listen to him, so when Shane says jump how high, he should just say how high, not why or where am I jumping or what for. So once that trust is there and he gives him that responsibility, then he can concentrate on doing the job itself. So it's most important. We want to see how this relationship is. Does Shane demand that respect for him to say, yeah, you know what, you've got my complete trust and belief. We don't know. We'll see in 2 or 3 fights down the line. But it's about the relationship. It's about trust in the relationship. And I think Shane himself said it's about trust.
But I mean, if there's any story to sort of inspire someone never to give up, it was. I mean, you're one. You lost your first 15 fights, and you still went on to sort of become a prominent figure in the cruiserweight division.
Oh, I lost a few. Yeah, I understand that.
No, I'm only joking. But listen, Groves is someone who should have won a world title by now, because we know the talent's there, undoubtedly.
Without a doubt, and British boxing is thriving. We're in a position where there's so many matches that can be made. But again, it's about George's hunger. Is George willing to fight for anything less than a world title? If this fight doesn't lead him to getting himself a ranking, then lead him to getting himself into a mandatory position, then lead him to getting a world title fight, I don't think he would. So to me, George is a certain type of fighter that champions are made of. He has that that champion mentality, that hunger. And so therefore, I don't think he's just boxing just to make the numbers up. He wants to get back in the mix again. I do believe that. I don't think it's a hustle. You've got fighters like, I know, Evander Holyfield that just wouldn't give up, and he thought, man, it's never going to happen. And to me, you kind of lose respect for them because you know they're never going to get to that level again. And you can see they're trying to hustle. But George, he ain't like that, man. This guy wants to get back up to the level, and I do think he honestly believes he's going to.
Finally, on George Groves. Will George Groves become world champion? Will he win a world title? When you're up in
this division, at this weight division, he can be. He can be. It's just about opportunity. And it's about who he's against, and that's a problem. But he can. It's just about who he is.
But will he?
We're going to start the weigh-in. And we're going to start with the final eliminator for the English super middleweight
crowd.
I think you believe he can.
I believe he can. He's at that level to be able to do it. It depends on who he's against.
The young gun, Kevin Young.
The tendency to get away.
Thank you, Johnny.
Amateur. Get away, G.